Good evening to everybody. On behalf of Philosophy family, I would like to extend a hearty welcome to all the viewers of Philosophy family to be with us on this auspicious Sunday webinar. And we have already completed more than 450 webinars, starting from the corona pandemics. Today, we are very lucky that we have got the consent from Dr. Mahesh Bhatt, the senior most and very popular surgeon, writer, public health constant in National Institute of Health and Family Welfare. He's also a motivational speaker, researcher who has more than 25 years in medicine and health services. We welcome Dr. Mahesh Bhatt sir to have his consent to be the speaker of today's webinar. And we also extend our welcome to all the scholars and teachers of philosophy and other disciplines to be with us to witness this academic program. And today, Dr. Mahesh Bhatt sir will speak on a very good topic, the role of science, the evolution of human ecosystem of human mind. It appears to be a very new topic and it will benefit all of us. And we have already invited Dr. Mahesh Bhatt in different webinars of philosophy family. His thought, his reflective thought, his presentation, and his way of deliberation, everything has inspired us to listen more and more lectures from him. And today, he has agreed to be with us. Dr. Mahesh Bhatt sir is a very public speaker and very motivational speaker, researcher, and who has done research on this topic for many years. And he has been invited to different organizations and institutions to connect people, to aware people regarding the healthcare systems. And he has also inspired them with the positive future, the values that's content in the healthcare system. And his talk will help us to expand the present, to see the present with a new dimension. His, today, the topic will be very systematic and holistic because it contains the dynamics of globalization and ecosystem thinking is conceptualizing both nature and human society in a interconnective and holistic way. It contains the diversification of thinking and due to the climate change, and starting from the Darwinian interpretation of evolution, Dr. Bhatt will reflect on the survival of fittest and the social ecosystem thinking, which is applicable to human world, mostly in the present world. So today, Dr. Mahesh Bhatt will definitely inspire us to take us towards a positive future, towards an ideal future that we hope for. So with this, once again, I welcome Dr. Mahesh Bhatt, the popular speaker, the popular health uh, health constant, health constant in different forums. We extend our greetings to him. We extend our pranam to him to be with us. With this, once again, I extend my pranam to all the senior teachers in the philosophy family that I can see their faces on the screen. I extend my welcome to Dr. Pramod Kumar Das, the webinar, the main architect of philosophy family, the host and coordinator of the host and the host and the convener of philosophy family. I also extend my welcome to Dr. K. Umnana Rao, assistant professor philosophy and regular moderator of philosophy family. With this, once again, I extend my pranam to all the viewers of today's webinar, and I request Dr. Mahesh Bhatt sir to commence his speech on the scheduled topic. Welcome, sir. Namaskar. Welcome, sir. Namaskar.
Thank you, Dr. Marana, for such a nice introduction and kind words. First of all, good evening to all of you, all the this members of the philosophical family, and it was really a pleasant surprise that when I got invited again just to have the conversation with you people with such an amazing faculty members and the philosophers, Dr. Rao, Dr. Das, Dr. Panda, Dr. Tripathi, Dr. Biswal, Dr. Ghosh, and of course Dr. Moharana, Dr. Sahu. So whatever I am able to see over here on my screen, all of these people and all other members of the philosophical family. So today we are going to discuss this. Let me share my screen first. Yeah. So let me have this. I'm going to share this window. Okay. Yeah. Is it visible?
Sir, visible, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, visible, sir.
Yes. So we are going to discuss today this the role of science in evolution of thought ecosystem of human mind. So will you please tell me that what will be the time limit
Yeah.
before going ahead?
1 hour. 1 hour.
Okay.
1 hour. You can also.
It is better to have within half an hour to 40 minutes, isn't it? So anyway, so we will discuss today the role of science in evolution of thought ecosystem of human mind. We will start it with what Dr. Morana was saying about the survival of the humanity. And we will start it with this fear. Fear is the most important reality of animal kingdom, which rules it. It is a very important for survival of a species because it plays an important role in evolutionary process through genes. It affects the genes. And animals utilize their exceptional qualities to mitigate their fear, what they got it in their evolutionary journey. So here, uh, all of us, all the animals, because we are also the part of the animal kingdom, as we all know it very well. So we all have the survival concerns, and those survival concerns are regarding our food security and reproduction. These are the basic concerns for the survivability of for the people, the animals in the animal kingdom. And to address their fear of survival and existence, animals used their best abilities, like they started living in herds, they developed social behavior, and they developed extraordinary abilities to fight or run away from that fear. And as we all know, that as far as the socializing is concerned, there are so many species in the jungle who have a very intricate social connections and social setup. So what we will use just to fend off our fear, and that is the best human ability, and that is our brain and mind. So what is the difference between brain and mind? Brain is an organ and mind is a product of this organ. Mind is a combination of products. Those are thoughts, reflexes, emotions. And a mind requires a living brain to exist. So a dead brain we cannot call a dead brain a mind. So only a living brain can have a mind. So we can call a mind to a living brain only. So a dead body or a cadaver will not have a mind. We cannot say that a dead body is having a mind. We can say it is having brain, because brain is an organ, and it is our thoughts uh, which creates our brain. So the human thought process uh, is about the movement of ions in around 100 billion neurons in our brain and trillions of synapses, and their synchronized firing and wiring of these neurons, and all of them resulted into the creation of the thought process. And thought process are the real energy behind our different actions. Whatever you take actions, whatever we are doing as a humanity, or the member of the humanity, our thought process are behind our actions. Whether that is religion, culture, philosophy, or science, whatever there is, our thought process is behind our thinking. So, in fact, we are creating a balance on the tightrope of our neurons, we can say that. So that those are creating very powerful thoughts, and they affect our health, behavior, and societies, and connect human brains to create humanity. It is all because of different neurotransmitters and biochemicals released in the process. So a positive thought process will create the positive thoughts, and means that will create the positive neurotransmitters and positive biochemicals. That is not the part of this discussion today. And the negative thoughts will create the negative neurotransmitters. So what will happen? That is because of the evolution of the human thoughts. So it occurs after 130,000 years of appearance of Homo sapiens. Generally, as we know, that the Homo sapiens species appeared on the Earth around 200 to 250,000 years ago. And 70,000 years back, after 130,000 of the appearance of the Homo sapiens, around 70,000 years back, we have a very interesting revolution, and we call it the cognitive revolution. And it was the beginning of language, communication, and transfer of knowledge. Means it was the beginning of history. This cognitive revolution is with this cognitive revolution, the human beings know this started telling stories. They started enjoying stories, and that creates the fictional human brain. And that all happens because, all of us, we are fictional creature. Generally, our many of our social connections, they are in fiction. Like a company is a fiction. We don't have a physical object which we can call company. We cannot touch a company. So like like a government. So all of them, they are fictional. They are in our thoughts. That is because of our thoughts, and that happens because of the extraordinary evolution of the this our prefrontal cortex. That is the on the front of behind our eyes, on the front of our skull. And this prefrontal cortex created the extraordinary evolution of this prefrontal cortex, created this cognitive revolution. And with this, the human beings, they become the king of the animal kingdom. And it was all because of the evolution, whereas animal world with all our thoughts of survival, fear, security, food, and reproduction, that creates the human world. And that all evolved human thoughts of religious and socio-cultural type, philosophical type, scientific type, and spiritual type, that create the human world from the animal world. So our evolved complex brain created a vicious cycle of thoughts, And that vicious cycle of thoughts was because of we our brain continuously strive for solving the problems, and in that process it create the questions. Those questions become more complex with the further course of action, and created more complex questions. And in that way our brain has created a vicious cycle where we are continuously creating questions to answer three most intriguing and exceptionally difficult questions. And those three questions are: number one, who am I or who we are; number two, where from I came or where from we came; and number three, where will I go or where will we go. So our all efforts are always trying to solve these three questions you look at any point. So these simple questions has grown to the complex ones with due course of time. Naturally, we have the four major groups of thought process. One is religious and socio-cultural thought process, that has got the prominence of thoughts of some god, belief, guru, supernatural power, method, or worship, and it is uh, an evolved thought of herd formation of the animals in animal kingdom. Then philosophical thoughts, where we have all the prominence of the philosophical thinking. There's some kind of mysticism to solve the complex issues of existence and knowledge, where religious thought process and scientific thought process both could not give the proper answer. And finally is the scientific thought process, where the prominence of thoughts of facts and reasoning with exploring the natural world and creating questions, asking questions, is the basic thoughts behind the scientific thought process. This religious and socio-cultural thought process is the form of the basic animal need to live in herds. So here in this group, we can have the politics, we can have different type of the groups, associations, even this philosophical family can be the part of this socio-cultural thought process. We have our associations, like we surgeons have our national surgeon associations, international associations. And these philosophical thoughts and scientific thought process, they are evolved thought process because of the cognitive brain. We have created a very complex ecosystem of thoughts. These three major types of thought process, they create the positive and negative thoughts. Their interaction with each other produce very conflicting thoughts, and those help or harm the humanity and human values. Hence, the uniquely evolved thought of spirituality create a balance. This is the reason that advanced scientific theories like quantum physics, cosmology, religious thoughts of salvation, and philosophical thinking, that the realization and possibilities with sense of engagement and liberation, that creates a kind of convergence of thoughts. So all the thoughts, they are based on the humanity and human values, positive thoughts of enhancement and enlightenment, because because of this basic glue of the humanity and human values, and all kind of the positive thoughts which make us thrive, we cannot imagine of any kind of thought process. So naturally on this base we have religion 1, religion 2, culture and science and philosophy as well. So whatever the thought process you can think of, that depends on basic humanity and human values, because it requires just to connect the people. And at the base of all these thought process, this humanity and human values and all the positive thoughts of the humanity, that creates the earth. But the major portion of these thoughts is created by the prominence of thought of some god, belief, method, worship, social belief systems, and and reasoning by questions, by facts, data. So this larger part of the thought process is created by the facts in the scientific thought process. And this fourth type of the thought process, which is spiritual thought process, which works as a connecting, communicating, and correcting and modulating kind of thought process that always try to create a balance between all kind of thought process, because generally the thought process, they have the conflicts at the individual level, as well as we will go ahead and we will discuss it at individual level and as well as collective humanity. We will see that there is always the conflicts between the different kind of thought process. So right now I might be thinking about my religious beliefs, but simultaneously I am studying, I am a student of science. So naturally I will have the scientific thought process as well. So many times I may feel conflicts. So to balance those conflicts, so there might be other things. My culture might be having different kind of the thoughts. So to balance those conflicts, the spiritual thought process creates the connecting, communicating, correcting, and modulating type of balancing nature. So it happens at the individual level and collective level of humanity. Individual thought process are the units of the collective thought process of a group or a whole humanity. So individual thought process, inner and outer situations that leads to that may create the negativities, and finally the spiritual thought process create a balance. And that's why the spirituality is considered the fourth dimension of our health. That is created the fourth dimension of our health according to the WHO. So these negativities in collective thought process at the collective level, that can create unrest, that can create thoughts of humanity, and finally the thoughts of humanity and human values will come in, and it will create the balancing action. We can understand it with this example. The political negative thoughts, they created world wars, and finally the thoughts of the humanity and human values, they come in, and there was formation of UNO. UNO means United Nations Organization. As we all know, that United Nations Organization appeared out of the two world wars, because the bloodshed of those two world wars, that makes the foundation for the formation of UNO. And we can understand it, though there are a lot of criticizing comments about the action of the UNO. But whatever that is, we can understand the UNO as the most uh, corrective measure the humankind can take at present. There may be some shortcomings. So this fourth group is spiritual thought process, which is mostly taken with the religiosity, and we will just look into the differences between spirituality and religiosity. Religious thought process is evolutionarily primitive thought of herd formation in animal kingdom. So making herds. That's why, just to make the group of the people, like two groups of the monkeys. Understand? So that is the evolved human thought of the herd formation in animals. So this spiritual thought process is evolutionarily superior thought process. As we all know, religions require spirituality for their existence, but spirituality doesn't require religion for its existence. Religions has many conflicts with scientific and philosophical thought process. There is always conflict, because religions generally, they have the fixed boundaries, and they don't want to go out of those boundaries, because always this religious thought process will try to preserve the boundaries, just to try to make the boundaries more and more you can say that strong. So spirituality is equally competent with all thought process, because it liberates the thoughts from their boundaries. Generally the spirituality will not have the boundaries and those kind of the strict boundaries, while religious thought process have inherent negative thoughts of us and them. It is very negative part in the religious thought process. Spiritual thought process consists of all the positive thoughts of humanity and human values with thoughts of connectedness. Generally, spirituality is about the connectedness to our inner self and outer cosmos. So in spiritual thought process, we try to connect with the wider humanity, and we also simultaneously we try to connect with ourselves as well. So in that way, the aim of all religions is to find or realize our spirituality. So when a thought process develop boundaries, it becomes a ism similar to religion. So religious thought process, religion and ism. Scientific thought process, it will become scientism. Philosophic thought process, no God, it will become atheism. Human centric, it will become humanism. And spiritual thoughts, it can become spiritualism. And as we all know, that thoughts with boundaries are isms, and it can create all those kind of the negativities like extremism, jingoism, nepotism. So any ism with all its goods, there may be a lot of good with any ism, but there are equal opportunities to get them into the negativities where they can create a lot of problems for the humanity and human values. Here, spiritual thought process liberates thought from boundaries. So when it liberates thoughts from boundaries, so naturally this ism mentality or this group mentality or this herd mentality, the spiritual thought process always try to break that herd mentality. So it makes our thoughts accommodative, tolerant, and open to other thoughts and encourage humanity and human values. So naturally, what happens? All the thoughts and thought process work hard to find the answers, applying our reasoning and hypothetical thinking. Concept of God, creation of religion and philosophies, hypothetical answers to natural happening around us. It gives us strength, simultaneously a positive thinking. The concept of God is a big positive thinking because it gives us a kind of support. So whenever we have certain kind of, because I am a doctor, I know it very well that whenever the patient is going inside the operating theater, it is always better for him just to remember his or her God, to remember his whatever he believe in or she believe in. So it is always better to have that because it have a lot of positive, and that's why I always call the concept of God as the most successful concept of human mind till now. Believe me, whenever we will go on Mars, even there, we will require this concept of God because there also we will have new kind of problems in front of us where we will be unable to give the answers. We will unable to have the solutions. So naturally there, our concept of God will help us. So scientific thought process answers where the answers were tried and tested on experimentation and evidence, and without proving them on the experimentation and evidences, they we cannot call them as the scientific fact. So it further created new questions and many more complexities because scientific thought process was based on the experimentation and evidences. So without evidences, it started creating new type of the questions and with many more complexities. So there was no definitive answer uh, uh, possible by science to all of our thoughts. Naturally, we have a lot of things which we cannot find the answer in our in the science. So this centuries old successful concept of God, God is still most helpful, and it will be there in the future of humankind. So these complexities of the human existence and fears, they all created a process where we human beings are busy for last 70,000 years. We have these stories like Adam and Eve, creation by God, religion, religious epics, etc. We have various stories of heaven and hell. We have theories like Big Bang, creation of matter, energy, and time. We explore atoms at one end and universe at other end. So we have entered inside the microcosm of atom. Simultaneously, we have entered into the macro this the universe, the macrocosmos of the universe. So in between these extremes, we have created many cultures, religions, sects, philosophies, science, and their various outcomes like information technology, atomic energy, and many more kind of the theories. Uh, in fact, these stories they were the science helped us in understanding the mysticism at one time. So, in fact, we are always busy to create a balance and answering questions of our existence. And those questions are who am I or who we are, where from I came or where from we came, and where will I go or where will we go. So, you take anything and you will find it. You take any religious scripture, they will tell you where from you came and where you will go based on your belief system. To where you will go means after death where you will go. Simultaneously, human beings also, they are trying to understand it, that where from they came in the form of the genetics and all kind of the evolutionary theories, and where they will go naturally there when there will be the problem on the earth, where they will go. So they are trying to explore the universe just to trying to find out other planets where we can live. So there is always a tug of war between various thought processes at individual and collective levels of humanity. And we all know that there was a fierce fight between scientific thought process and religious thought process. We can understand with the examples of the Galileo and Bruno. They were telling a truth, but they were bitterly, they were have a bitter kind of the experience of that time with the people with from the religion. So still we have the remnant of it is still persisting. Still we had a fierce tug of war between scientific thought process and religious thought process, and it also happens at our individual level as well. So why it happens? It happens because scientific thought process always raised questions on belief systems, because the uh, basic nature of the scientific thought process is just to create the questions, just to raise the questions. So initially what happened before, say in the era, say around 1,000 years back, generally those questions were answered from the religions only. But later on, when there was the scientific revolution, after that, the scientific thought process raised such questions on belief systems that it questioned various religious doctrines, including origin of life, functioning of nature, disease, and other human problems. It totally smashed the idea of supernatural power or a god in the functioning and scheme of nature. And we all know that it is because it is the central theme of the religious thought process. So that's why it was taken as a blow at the fundamental thought of religious thought process. And still it is there in in our thought process. So science changed the ecosystem of the human thoughts at individual and collective levels uh, with its new theories and new inventions, theories of matter, space and time, astronomy, quantum physics, biotechnology, artificial intelligence. There are few, and there are a lot of things which change the ecosystem of the human thoughts at individual and collective levels, because it bend, it break, and it create new kind of thoughts in the ecosystem of the human thought process. It happens at the individual level and at collective levels both. And this is the reason that when corona pandemic happens, I think most of 99% of the population of the world, they were not thinking that some supernatural power has got its hand behind it. There majority of the humanity was thinking that it is because of a virus. So it was not so with black death in the pandemic in the 13th century. So this creates a kind of upheaval in the human thought process, and it happens because science treats all human beings equally. It treats all human beings equally. Just we take a simple example of paracetamol. It's a common drug which we all know. We take it for just to relieve our fever. So paracetamol will relieve fever of all human beings, irrespective of caste, religion, social status, ethnicity, etc. Whether you are living in any country, wherever you are living, if you take paracetamol, it will relieve your fever. Simultaneously, atom bomb will kill everyone. So it is not like that if I will worship a god, so God will protect me. Atom bomb is not going to protect anybody. It will kill everyone. But simultaneously, paracetamol will relieve fever of all human beings. It provides equal opportunity to questioning realities across the religious, cultural, and political belief systems. Equal opportunities. So that's why it is very humanistic in its approach. It provides you logic to believe by questioning your belief system. It is misconception that science is anti-realism. In fact, it provides you logic to believe by questioning your belief system, and in that way it will create you better religious person. It will try to make you understand your religion better, and it only encourage you to apply your logic. So naturally, science consider all human beings as a member of one species, and that species is Homo sapiens. And that is the reason that blood of a person may kill the another person of the same family, caste or religion or ethnicity if the blood group are different. But if the blood group are same, then that can save a person with a similar group from any other caste or religion or ethnicity or from anywhere else. He should be only the member of this, he or she should be the member of this species Homo sapiens. So it helps in evolving of spiritual thought process. How? With increasing interaction between cultures, religions, societies, and views with the technological advancements. We all are utilizing the technologies, and with those technologies, the different perspectives, people with different perspectives, people with different belief systems, they have with closer interaction with each other. And this increasing interaction between culture, religion, and societies that creates the understanding of the humanity and human values. Scientific technologies provide better communication, better opportunities. It provides solution to solve hurdles and challenges of humanity and human values. There are a lot of problems in front of the humanity and human values, like climate change, global warming, hunger, disease, pandemics, whatever, whatnot. It is only science that can have, that can solve these hurdles in front of the humanity. So new theories like quantum physics and groundbreaking technologies like gene editing redefine creation, which otherwise thought to be supernatural. So all kind of the supernatural things, those are being done by the science now through, say, gene editing. We are doing a lot of things with gene editing. We can make the copies of the animals. Eventually, we can make the copies of the human beings, but it is not ethically possible, allowed. So we are doing a lot of things with this scientific knowledge. So science and scientific thought process and spiritual thought process have no conflicts or least conflicts, because spiritual thought process fundamentally oppose boundaries, and science again fundamentally oppose boundaries, because science consider the species. It welcomes changes. Spiritual thought process always welcomes changes. There is no rigidity of thoughts. That's why it is known as the best thing for our health. When our thoughts are rigid, and whenever we have some kind of the deviation from those rigid thoughts, it creates negativities in our thought process, and that negativity will create the negative biochemicals in our body, and we will have stress, we will have blood pressure, we will have a lot of things. So spiritual thought process always try to bring you out from that rigid concept of your belief system. So it always talk about connectedness. So how we connect with ourselves, how we can connect with the our exterior world, how we can connect with cosmos, how we can connect with energy. So this kind of thought is just smashing the boundaries and dignity of life and ultimate truth. And this is the reason that science, scientific thought process, and spiritual thought process have least conflicts. Many times they try to solve the conflicts between the religious thought process and scientific thought process in last few decades, say in last century, in 20th century, and now in 21st century. Since spirituality and spiritual thought process are the balancing and controlling force in human thought ecosystem, it helps in settling conflicts between religious, scientific, and philosophic thought process. It helps in settling the conflicts. Famous scientists of 20th century talked about spirituality. Science, because of its awesome technologies and solutions, gradually decrease the burden of God by explaining natural world and helping humanity in multiple ways. So what we used to think around 50 years or 100 years ago, that God can do that, now the human beings are eventually doing that with the help of the scientific knowledge, with the help of their scientific thought process. So science further accelerates the development of scientific thought process by providing facts, solving mysteries, developing technologies, and solving problems. In that way, it is pushing the scientific thought process, and this is the reason that in present era, the guiding force in the ecosystem of the collective humanity is the science. So when corona happens, when any major tragedy happens, it is always science that will be at the forefront of the endeavors or the business of the humanity. So whatever you call, but you cannot live without the science in the 21st century. And this is the reason that it further accelerates the development of scientific thought process in the ecosystem of the human thought process. And science helps in dealing with our survival anxieties. Our survival anxieties like climate change, global warming, many other problems. Those are because of the, you can say, because of the scientific inventions like artificial intelligence, etc. The question is only with the science. So here is a famous quote by Isaac Newton. I would like to show it here. And it is very philosophical if you look it at. And Isaac Newton said, I seem to have been only like a boy, playing on the seashore and diverting myself in now and then, finding a smoother pebble or a prettier shell than ordinary, whilst the green, the great ocean of truth lay all undiscovered before me. So it is always, science is always trying to get better answers, better things, better pebble, you can say in this famous quote by this famous man Isaac Newton. And here is another quote by Edwin Hubble. He once said about science, equipped with his five senses, man explores the universe around him and calls the adventure as science. So Edwin Hubble described the science in few words like this. So to conclude here, we can say that science is a knowledge, it's a tool. It is human mind and its thought process responsible for the human problems. It is not the science that is responsible for the human problems. Many times we take this notion that science is creating problem. No, science is not creating problem. It is the human thought process that those are creating problem. We can understand it with this small example. It is based on our thought process to make atom bomb or nuclear energy or nuclear medicine from the same knowledge of atom. We have the knowledge of atom. We can create a bomb, we can make a bomb which will kill. Naturally atom bombs are now that can create, that can that can be the existential problem for the humanity, for the this whole humanity can be wiped out with the help of the atom bombs. But simultaneously, we can create the nuclear energy or nuclear medicine from that knowledge of atom. So it is naturally the science, the knowledge of science, which is a tool in our hands. It depends on our thought process, on the thought process of the humanity, the collective humanity or the individual humanity, that how we utilize it. The same science can, the same knowledge, if utilized with the thoughts of the humanity and human values, can save lives, can save humanity. And the same knowledge, if we use with the negativities of the human brain, like extremism, like hatred, then it can create anything. Then it can make us just to it can wipe the whole human race from the face of earth. With this, I would like to end this presentation with a famous quote by Stephen Hawking. Stephen Hawking, as we all know, was the greatest philosopher, you can say. He was a scientist of our time. And this famous quote make us humble, as well as it will force us to think something about the present status of the humanity. He once said, "We are just an advanced breed of monkeys on a minor planet of a very average star. But we can understand the universe. That makes us something very special." And this is the reason that when I call that it's not the science which have the problem, which have created the problem. In fact, science is a knowledge. It's a tool. So it is on the human brain. It is on our thought process, our thinking, that how we use that tool. Any tool can be used in just to uh, hurt someone, or that simultaneously that tool can also be used to help a lot of people around us. So with this, I would like to thanks all of you, and for this patience hearing, because so
Hello.
we will go back. Thank you very much. uh, I hope uh, it was, what was the time? I think I I ended it within time. So thank
Yes,
you
sir.
very
Yes,
much.
sir.
And now
Yes,
it
sir.
is
Yes, sir.
over to
Yes, sir.
Dr. Morana, or Dr. What is there any question from
No, no.
anybody?
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Okay. Thanks so much, sir. Uh, Dr. Mahesh Bhatt, sir, for your very reflective presentation on the role of science in the evolution of thought ecosystem of the human mind. Really, this is a new presentation, new dimension thought, okay, for all of us. And today, uh, I extend my congratulations to you for delivering a very good topic for all of us.
Thank you very
And
much, sir.
today, Dr. Bhatt uh, has very brilliantly discussed on different concepts of the uh, this scheduled topic, and it is really a conceptualization that concepts different levels of human existence that he was discussing, and Dr. Bhatt was making a connectivity of the diversification of different values. And when he was discussing the topic, He was giving a very systematic and holistic thinking, which is influenced by the dynamics of globalization as to the development of the scientific development. And through his discussion, Dr. Bhatt has conceptualized both nature and human society, human problems, and which seems to have an interconnective and holistic way due to the change of ecosystem. He was also discussing the importance of science, and he was discussing that how science treats all human human beings and human equality. He has given his view on the ethical limitation of scientific development due to the multifarious development. He said that we cannot leave the science on scientific development, but there's the ethical limitation of it. He was discussing. He was discussing on the conflict of different thought processes. He was discussing on the thought processes of religious thought, scientific thoughts, philosophical thought, and the spiritual thought. He was also giving the a conflict of different thought processes and balancing all the thought processes. Uh, Particularly when he was uh, he was focusing on the spiritual thought processes. He was giving importance on connecting the inner self with the outer cosmos for a wider humanity and for the wider human values. And it has influenced us when he was discussing the importance of spiritual uh, thought processes. He was giving uh, he was giving importance on our connectedness, how to connect with the outer cosmos, how to connect us with the greater values that we want to do for a better future. So in the present area, in the present state that he has discussed, that we have witnessed many scientific development. Uh, Particularly, he was giving the example of artificial uh, intelligence, and he said that when we are facing different problems in the present age, that it is not due to the science, because science is a tool, and it is our mind, it is our thought processes, that how to use that tool, in which way that we have to use the tool for the better, in a better ecosystem, for a better world, for a better future, for positive to impact upon the others. But it is human mind which creates all kinds of problems, which is responsible for all kinds of human problems that we have to think of. So today, I would like to extend my congratulations to Dr. Bhatt for reflecting on a very particular pertinent issue of the human mind. And with this, I would like to request Dr. K. Umnan Rao to carry on the introductive session. Okay, Dr. Rao.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Maharana. Thank you for the synopsis. I also thank the speaker, Dr. Mahesh Bhatt, for the lecture. Now, to start with, let us move to Dr. Ranjit Ghosh, sir, for his observations and queries. Namaskar, sir. Please. Dr. Ghosh.
Thank you, Dr. Rao. Dr. Bhatt has very nicely given us the evolution of thought ecosystem. We have all about his ideas on spiritual health, and I myself have brought the book and have read it extensively. Now he has definitely trying to relate philosophy with science and spirituality. So now here in this lecture, I just want to have two clarifications. Although I understand them, still, if we hear from him a little bit more about this too, then it will be definitely better for all of us. The first one is that spirituality as the fourth dimension of our health. This is one thing. And the second one is gene editing. Now, the thing is, gene editing is creating a problem for biomedical ethics, as we know. But how to cope with this? Of course, he has said that the problem is not with science, but with the human thought process. But still, about gene editing and about the fourth dimension of our health, spirituality as the fourth dimension of our health, if he elaborates it more, then it will be helpful for all of us. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I will tell you something about gene editing. So recently what happened that I think maybe some of you have read it in the in newspaper, that first gene edited kidney of a pig was transplanted to a patient in America, and it was a successful transplantation. So now here we are using that gene editing technology for the betterment of the humanity. It is always similar to making the things in a context of the atom bomb. Like when you are using that this knowledge of the atom to create atomic energy or atomic medicine, and at the another end you are trying to create that atomic knowledge into atomic bomb. So this similar thing happens with gene technology as well. Gene technology is doing a lot of things. A lot of research is being done on it, and it can help in many ways. Even it can help in dealing the most say a crucial problem in front of us, which we call climate change and global warming. Even there, this knowledge of the gene editing or gene technology can help us just to create more food, just to create better environmental conditions, the better plants to absorb more carbon dioxide and get out more oxygen. So here again, this tool that can be utilized for the betterment of the humanity. So now here comes the spiritual dimension of health. And what the spiritual dimension of health talked about, that talks about the health of our thoughts, our thought process. So we have the physical health, where we talk about our this body, the physical body, our heart, the systems are working well or not. Then there comes the mental health, where we talk about the disease of our brain, our psychology, and other things. Then comes the social health, where we talk about our interactions with our society, with our family, with those interactions with our at our workplaces, where we are working in our office or in our community, in our society. So those interactions are whether healthy or not, where there we talk about the social health. And then comes the spiritual health, and spiritual health is about the health of our thought process, because at the end of the day, it is the human beings, they are governed by their thoughts. Human beings have a lot of things to do with their thoughts. I will give you one example. Many times, 80% of time, it is our thought process which make us healthy or unhealthy. So I will give you one example, one simple example. One fine morning, I got up, I went for exercise. I do every exercise, and then I do yoga, everything. And then with a cup of tea, I started just looking at the morning newspaper. And I found that in my neighborhood, there was a big chaos the day before. and immediately it will put me in a negative health, because I will start thinking, I will become a little bit anxious. My blood pressure will, my heart rate will start getting faster. So that kind of the reaction will started having in me. So many times it is our thought process which make us unhealthy, that can put our health in a negative direction. So it has been said that 80% of time it is your thought process which makes you healthy or unhealthy. We are not having fever, or we are not having infection, or we are not having disease at any time, but our thought process is running there in our head 24 hours, 24 into 7. So that can create us ill, or that can create us our health in a negative direction. We can start having, so this is the basic concept behind all kind of the lifestyle disease, whether it is blood pressure, whether it is anxiety, whether it is sleep disorders. A lot of sleep disorders there right now. The people are unable to sleep properly. A lot of people are there with the high blood pressure, diabetes. So these kind of the lifestyle disease, the human thought process has got something to do with that. And here, that spiritual dimension of that our health, that can create that kind of balance between our actions and between our reactions. So that balance will be created by the this spiritual thought process, or this thought of spirituality will try to maintain that. And this is the reason that on the demand of these spiritual products is increasing like anything all over the world. So a lot of people, whether they are doing well, good or bad or whatever that is, in fact they are trying to address that part of our health, that spiritual dimension of our health. और दिस इज द रीजन कि लोगों की ज्यादातर की दुकानें इसी बात पे चल रही हैं. एंड दैट्स व्हाई फॉर लास्ट say 7-8 years I am trying to do research on the scientific grounds of the spiritual thought process. I have presented a lot of papers, and I have created a thought model of spirituality for the public health purpose. So that is the different dimension, and we talked about a part of that in our previous presentation, I think last year or the before last year, during Corona period, when we had the interaction in philosophical family at that time. So it's that kind of thinking. It's that kind of our perspective, where we try to look at the religion from that angle, from the angle of our spiritual thoughts. Because in religion we have the fixed boundaries. So whenever we go out of that boundary, that will create a kind of conflict inside us. That will create a kind of, suppose I am believing in some god, and if I have certain kind of questions in my mind, because I am a student of science, so naturally I will have a lot of questions. So naturally it will create a kind of the conflict inside me, that why I am questioning my god. I should not do it. And it happens with me. While I was a child, and I used to ask questions to my grandmother about because I spent my most of my childhood in the Himalayas, in my village, where from I did my intermediate, and then I shifted to the King George Medical College after doing my elementary education in my village. So at that time I used to have these kind of questions. And I used to ask those questions to my grandmother at that time, and she used to told me that you should not ask this question. You should not question the God, and that was the reason that there is a much conflict. Historically, there was a conflict between the religious thought process and the scientific thought process. And in fact, it was the science which makes the spirituality, which takes the spirituality out of the religious thought process. And now all over the world, we all know it very well that religious thought process and spiritual thought process are considered two different kind of thought process. I think all of you should be agree with this statement. Many people all over the world, they are calling themselves spiritual but not religious, because religions at the end of the day, they create a kind of many negativities, like jingoism, that my religion is good, your religion is bad, my religion is superior, your religion is inferior. Simultaneously, they will create a kind of the extremism, that whether you come to us and accept us, or you will get fired, or you will get killed or something like that. So and simultaneously there's this these they in history, if you look at the historical facts, in the history of the humankind, maximum bloodshed was on the name of the religions. Is what it was on the names of the religions. And it shows that, again, it shows that evolutionary connection. In fact, the religion is a sort of herd formation, the human type of herd formation. And it happens, it acts like two herds, two groups of the monkeys can do. So if a monkey from this group will go to this group, either the monkey will be killed or the monkey will have to surrender. Then only he can join this group. The similar thing happens with religions. Now the boundaries, they are being shaken because of the rise of the scientific thought process in the this thought ecosystem of the humanity. And this is the reason that at the time of the corona, it was not I think most of the humanity was thinking that it is being it happens because of the virus. I think I have given the answer, sir.
Sir,
Your
but
question,
one
your
thing,
question was very extensive, so that's why it takes a longer time.
one thing what Dr. Ghosh pointed out is you talk of spirituality as the fourth dimension of health. What are the other three dimensions that we can talk of?
He has mentioned physical,
I have
mental.
What
I
are the
have I have told all the three dimensions. The other three dimensions are physical health, mental health, and social health. I have already
okay,
mentioned it.
okay, physical, social, and mental.
Yeah,
Okay, done.
physical, social,
Okay,
and mental
okay.
health.
Then there's the fourth dimension.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
done.
fourth dimension.
Okay.
So,
So
Dr. Bhatt, you have properly mentioned that it is religion that divides, spirituality that unites, and that is the actually the age-old value that we should inculcate. Thank you. I have gone through your book, Spiritual Health. But,
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. It's like a blessing for me.
thank you, thank you. You have very nicely written everything there from the scientific point of view, which also is having its philosophical orientation. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
yes, well, we are happy to see our admin on the screen, and he's anxious
Yes,
to have
yes, yeah.
his word because
Am
he
I
has
audible,
some.
sir?
Yes, you're
Am I
audible and
audible?
visible since long. Audible and
Okay.
visible also. Yes,
Thank you.
carry on, sir.
Thank you. Thank
Carry on,
you.
sir.
Very nice talk. Namaskar, Dr. Bhatt.
Namaskar, sir. Namaskar.
Nice to meet you again in this forum.
Thank you. Me too.
Yes, yes, yes. You told about the science, that science is a tool which is used by mind. So mind is responsible for use and misuse of science.
Yes, sir.
Similarly, mind is also a tool. Mind itself is a tool. Mind can be used and misused. It is mind that has created science, that has destroyed science, that has created philosophy, that becomes everything. It is through mind we transform from one state to another state. So mind itself is also a tool. So when we say that mind is responsible, my question, very simple question is to you: who is that I? When we are using frequently, I s- I am doing so and so. Who is that I? Because mind itself is a tool only, and we have that only tool. We have that only instrument which can be used and misused. We don't have the second tool. By that mind, we can be attached. By that mind only, we can be detached. By that mind, we can create beautiful science. And by, as you gave the example of atom bomb, both the uses of atom bomb is through this mind only. Okay. So who is that I? This is very simple question. Here comes spirituality. My question leads to spirituality. Who
Yes,
is
sir.
that I? Yes, yes, yes. And that was also your question. Who am I? Who am I? Where from I came? Where shall I go? Who is that I that we are using frequently? This is my I shall
That is,
answer and I shall give my
that is,
observation.
yeah, yeah, that is the most difficult question, I can say, in front of the human wisdom, that who am I? And I have already mentioned three three questions where we are trying to trying to find the answers. One is who am I, or who we are. The second is where from we came, or where from I came. And third is where we will go, or where I will go. And if we look at these three questions, we are trying, whether it is science, whether it is philosophy, whether it is religion, all of these thought processes are trying to answer those three questions. Where from I came from my parents. Where from they came, naturally they came from this and that. That goes to the some atom or some particle. So we have reached that atom as well. Now the question arises that where from that that atom came. So they started going inside the atom, and now inside the atom they found that it is being created by energy. So the question is where from that energy came. So the question will not stop. One simple question will lead to multiple complex questions. Now the similar thing is with who am I? Because again, here, whether it is science, whether it is philosophy, whether it is religion, they are always trying to answer this question, who am I? And that question has got multiple dimensions. Multiple dimensions. It has got the physical dimension, and that physical dimension is that who am I? I am Mahesh Bhatt. It is here, it's my body. But then the another dimension of this is that this body only cannot be the Mahesh Bhatt. It must have some another dimension somewhere else, in the form of some energy or some quantum field or something which is still not clear. Because after all, whatever we are trying to convey, whatever we are trying to understand about ourselves, we are always in the mode of researching more and more and more and more. So what I am trying to understand about Mahesh Bhatt is still not clear. It is still going on. What I am trying to, because myself, there are so many things, so many dimensions of myself, that I will try to understand those. I will try to, uh, understand them, I will try to solve them throughout my life, because my role will keep on changing. Initially, I was a kid, I was the son or daughter of someone. Then I will have son and daughter. Then somebody else will come in my family, and I will become a father-in-law. I will become a grandfather. So this, my role will keep on changing. And simultaneously, that I, which I will try to understand, will keep on changing. So it's a very difficult question, sir. So I would like to say
Yes,
that
sir,
that that
sir, please. Yes,
yeah.
yes. I am now I am having my observation after listening to your response. The point is, when we are discussing about something physical outside our mind, just like atom bomb or anything physical, empirical world, regarding empirical world, regarding chemicals, when we are discussing about that in science, apart from mind, that is one science. Okay. Similarly, when we are discussing about the ecosystem of our thinking system, brain system, scientifically, that is also a science that belongs to science. So that part and this part both belong to science. My question is, which mind is discussing about the ecosystem of mind? You see, when it is a very common question, it is a very simple question. It's not question to you, it is question to everybody. Everybody can answer. When I am discussing about the limitation of my mind, the ecosystem of my mind, then what is that mind which is discussing about this ecosystem mind? Because the mind that is disturbed, that cannot observe the disturbing element of a mind. Arjuna cannot know that he is disturbed. For that, there is Lord Krishna who can give advice. For example, mother and child. The child cannot know. Child thinks that he is right or she is right. But another mind, that is mother, who can rectify, who can observe the mistakes of the child. Similarly, when we are discussing about the ecosystem of mind, who is discussing that? So here we should have a faith, and faith has also implication that there are different layers of consciousness. Also, now you told that there are different layers of consciousness, and we all belong to different layers of consciousness. Therefore, we are different from each other. Therefore, our thoughts are different. Therefore, our philosophy is different. Our beliefs and disbeliefs are different. We belong to different layers of consciousness, as the Aurobindo very beautifully said, and then Advaita Vedanta also that is said. And in science, it belongs to only one layer of consciousness. Science means what we know systematically, and it has no end at all. What is science today, that can be rectified tomorrow. Science can be revised. So the available knowledge is science. Whatever yet is available to us, that is science. It is systematically known, therefore it is science. So science is the limitation of our science.
Your voice is not coming, sir. Your voice is not coming.
Am I not audible?
Yeah,
Now
now
audible.
now you are audible.
Hello?
Now
You are
audible. Now
audible. So
audible.
keep it at this level.
Uh-huh.
Acha, you have not had anything?
Yeah,
No,
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 no.
just,
I
just
don't. We
one.
don't.
Few seconds. Few
Few
seconds. A
seconds.
few seconds. Carry
Yes,
on. Carry on.
I am telling that when we are discussing about physical science or the science, anything empirical which is apart from our mind, that is one science. But when we are discussing about the ecosystem of a mind or brain, that is also science. Both these come under the scientific inquiry. But when we are discussing about ecosystem of a mind, which mind is discussing that? Because the disturbing mind cannot discuss about the disturbance of a mind. So there must be an equipoised mind. There must be a mind of equanimity, a higher mind that is discussing about the, for example, you, Mr. Dr. Bhatt, sir. Now, when you are an expert in this field, and when you have made research, you are discussing about ecosystem of a mind. You don't belong to that layer of consciousness. You belong to a higher layer of consciousness. Therefore, you are able to discuss about the problems of a human mind. Therefore, you are a doctor. Similarly, Arjuna could not know that he is disturbed in the battlefield. So there was Lord Krishna who knew that Arjuna is in problem. So from this, the conclusion comes that there are different layers of consciousness, and we human beings, we individuals belong to different layers also. Therefore, we are different. Therefore, many minds, many thoughts. So somehow or other, we have to believe that there is a higher level of consciousness, and we are marching towards that. So that part is spirituality. That part is spirituality. And science is nothing but the systematic knowledge which is known yet, which is known for the time being, which can be revised tomorrow. Science can be revised, laws of the state can be revised, philosophy can be revised, as you said, the isms, which is the bracket, or which is the boundaries of our thought. All and the relativity of science we understand because we belong to a higher level of a consciousness. So this belief leads to spirituality. If we know, if that means the observer, that means who am I? I am that observer who can observe, not everybody, who can observe the limitation of a mind, the disturbance of a mind, the ecosystems of a mind. Similarly, the outside world. If we do not believe that, if simply we focus our thought and research in the laboratory of science, and if we take that science is the ultimate and final, even as a tool, and mind is responsible for its use and misuse, then I shall say that mind itself is a tool. That who is observing that? Who is regulating mind? And there is no third party, because I am the first party and the last party, because I have only one instrument. No teacher, no scripture, nobody can rectify my mind. So the mind has different mind belongs to mind has different possibilities. So the higher mind, now also you are a higher mind. Because you are teaching here, you are speaking something from your expertise. So so I believe that, sir, your response over it, and this is something beyond science. This is not within science.
it is it is within science. I already told about this in my presentation. What you are talking about, observer, that there is somebody observer.
Yes,
This,
yes.
the whole
Who is
theory
that
of
observer?
quantum physics, whole theory of quantum physics, that is based on the observer. So when an electron will be a particle, or when that electron will be energy, it depends on the observer. So basically, it is all about the questions. One question creates many questions. It creates a vicious cycle, and the complexity of question is keep on rising. And because of that complexity, we are today discussing all these complex questions. That complexity is being, that the science try to solve those complexities. So now there is a big question nowadays in neurosciences, and that is about the human consciousness. And still, we don't have the real answer that how we should define the consciousness. In fact, many times in neurobiology, it is said that even the definition of mind is not clear. We need to make it more precise or more accurate. in spite of so many advancements in science, despite of so many things, so many gadgets, like fMRI, like many other tools, the technologies in our hand, we are talking about the cyborgs. We are talking about the planting something in our brain, and that brain will start working with the chip. Even the people are talking to that extent that maybe within next 10-12 years we will try to download our brain somewhere in a hard hard disk, our mind in a hard disk. So we have reached to that extent, but even now we don't have the right diagnosis, right definition. We are unable to define what is consciousness, how we should define consciousness, how we should define mind. We can define brain because brain is a physical organ. We have all the anatomy, physiology, and everything. We have that 100 billions of the neurons there, trillions of the synapses, how those synapses are working, how they fire and how they wire. We know that knowledge, but still it is not possible. It is it is very hazy area where we try to define mind, when we try to define consciousness. So uh,
Then, sir, we should be silent about spirituality. If this is our limitation, if the mind is not clear, if anything is consciousness is not clear, if we say that creation will rectify the creator, because science is created by mind, and there is a mystery, who is the creator of mind. If all these things are questioned and there is suspense, there is no clear answer to it, then
but in
scientific
science,
discussion should,
one thing is said that what the quote by Newton was there, that science is something that where we try to find a better pebble, a rounded stone, a better ornament, better thing from the seashore. The knowledge is like a sea, and science try to, that's why in that way science is very spiritual, because science always try to maintain the things. Science always try to be humble, that whatever we are doing, we are trying to do something better, trying to do something betterment for the life. So that was
So,
my point, and I am a
so
student
okay,
of
thank you,
science. So that's
thank you,
why
Dr. Bhatt.
okay,
my talk is about the scientific part of
Yes,
okay,
thank
sir.
you, Dr. Bhatt. Well, taking the entire discussion and to start with, if I have lent it right, if Dr. Mahesh Bhatt has taken the social dimension as one of the dimensions of health, is it so? You have taken society as one of the dimensions, is it?
yes, social dimension of health
Okay,
is there.
health. Okay, if that is so, so the entire structure, the scheme can be put something like this. You talk of physical dimension and the mental dimension. So with these two dimensions put intact, we have an organism. We cannot talk of an organism without a mental dimension. Okay.
Yeah,
So
therefore,
the organism must have a mental dimension. So with body and mind, an organism appears in the society. And that's how he interacts with the society, his place or her place in the society, the web of connectivity within the society, the interactions, the coherence, the differences, the tragedies, the comedies, the goods, the bads, the negativities, the positivities, that defines the social health. So, mind is a tool, as Professor Das has pointed out. Mind is a tool, and in entire structuring of our own these three dimensions which we are involved, there is one observer within, and that is the observer that is not staying outside, which Professor Das was trying to explain the inner through the outer, but there is an inner dimension to our own physical structure that we come up, present ourselves, the society, through an unseen mental dimension. And all this, the physical, the mental, the social, all these structures, all these dimensions are monitored by a spiritual dimensions, which you two talk of, that is the fourth dimension. And that lies not outside, that lies somehow within the observer. Even our mental activities are monitored and guided by our own inner structure. That is the spiritual health. The status, the ladder in which we are placed at. Maybe some is stationed at a higher level of spirituality and some may not be. Those who are stationed at a higher level of spirituality will have a balanced mind. And those, Arjuna, you see, Arjuna was learned. He was one of the learned person, but still the disturbance, the turbulence that he faced, that he came across, put him in a lower strata of spirituality because that is the observer within has failed to mark out the things that have to be done in the social context. So the observer is the spiritual thread lies somewhere inside, and that is the observer, and from there sparks in the fourth dimension, that is the spirituality. If the spiritual health is good, the social health is good because your mind is working right. Okay, the social health is good, your mental bodily health all are balanced. So it all depends on the spiritual health, and we somehow ignore the fourth dimension. Even science cannot ignore the fourth dimension, because when you talk of the atomic energy or the genetic engineering, the atomic technology or the genetic engineering, it is the fourth dimension, the spiritual observer within, that guides the mind to how to make use of the technology. May it be in the case of genetic engineering, whether you are trying to develop better and better varieties of plants which can absorb more of carbon dioxide or the greenhouse gases and give out oxygen. That is again a part of genetic engineering. How we develop better varieties of plants that can take in more of carbon dioxide or greenhouse gases and give out oxygen. So that will be helping, or say, better varieties of plants that can absorb the clouds to give in more of rain to eliminate the drought conditions. Better varieties of plants that have a great depth into that, whose roots can grow deep into the soil, so that can the ground can retain the water capacity and the fertility of the area can be improved. So it is all about genetic engineering. So who is the observer? It is the some a spiritual thread inside that is guiding the mind through maybe genetic engineering, maybe nuclear technology, and that is bringing about a good social health. And that is how we keep our life balanced. So this is how I wish to bring out the entire things together.
Yes,
The
yes,
spiritual
yes,
thread is very
yes.
much
Great.
inside.
Dr. Rao,
It's
Thank
great.
you.
Dr. Rao,
Thank you,
I
sir.
shall speak only two or three
Yes, sir.
sentences.
Yes, sir.
Only two or three sentences. All discussion about science that has been rooted from mind. There is no disagreement. And that mind is the human mind. There is no disagreement. Because the mind of a goat does not create science. It is the human mind that has created all the possibility of a scientific development. So science is because of mind, number one. Then the creator, that the mind may be disturbed, maybe maybe good, maybe bad, maybe developed, maybe bad. So here comes ethics, because man can understand only ethics. So who is the observer? In very simple thing, I shall say, santosam paramasukham. That means that mind of a contentment, that mind who is satisfied with it, who is not greedy. All these things does not belong to science. This is the ethical practice. That mind, the mind of equanimity, the mind of a peaceful mind, that mind can observe the disturbed mind. This is a very simple theory. And that the child mother example I gave, but here there are two persons. We ourselves also, when we are going to sleep, Dr. Bhatt also said that when we are going to sleep at night, we revise our actions, our thoughts of the whole day. And there, at that time, there is a chance we repent. Why did I do that? I should not do that. So that thought is the higher thought. That regulates my lower thought. So here higher mind means the higher thought. The balanced mind
thought, and you also, Dr. Rao also said very beautifully. I agree with Dr. Bhatt. Dr. Bhatt is speaking about the misuse of science, and that misuse is due to mind. In this point, I totally agree. But when we are talking about spirituality, we have to believe that beyond science, because which is the creation of a mind, so beyond the science, beyond its creator, that is mind, there is a higher mind, which is because of that, the mind itself and its creation, that is science, everything is regulated. Therefore, we are discussing, otherwise, there is no discussion. This is my submission.
Yes.
Very humble
Thank you.
submission.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Well,
you.
yes, if I go with the discussion again, Professor Bhatt, Dr. Bhatt has come across the talk about quantum mechanics and the role of the observer. Even in quantum mechanics, the doctrine of unanalyzable whole. Okay, the connectivity of the observer with the microscopic entity cannot be denied. You cannot analyze the observer. You cannot keep away the observer apart from the observing proton or the microscopic particle, because they are all connected, put together. So the role of the observer is very important. Here also the observer is within. When we are talking about this mental health, the physical health, the social health, the observer is somewhere within, which even science is not denying. The role of the observer is slowly coming, breaking down to the levels of the quantum physics to seek to say that the observer cannot be neglected, it cannot be denied. So the observer within, if you take the human structure, the observer is within. And even in the frontiers of science, the observer is slowly coming up to take a greater place, which cannot be avoided. The doctrine of unanalyzable whole. It's a Bohr's doctrine of unanalyzable whole. So it gives a role to the observer. So that's how the sakshin, the witness, who is the witness of this mental activity? There is a sakshin, there is a witness within my mind. Okay, I may be expressing something, but my real thought within, the real thought process, the thing that I am communicating through my physicality, through the social connectivity, and the thought that is really connecting me, what I know within and what I am expressing. Who is the witness? The witness is the sakshin within.
Within.
That there is a presumption, there is a expression of one thought process, but there is a
You can
hidden
you
thought
can
process within.
you can say that is the I.
That is the I.
That is
That is the
I,
I.
that is I, that
That
is
is the
I.
I. The
And Dr.
authority.
Rao, Dr. Rao,
Yes, sir.
Dr. Rao,
Sir.
what is the function of that Sakhi? What is the
And that is the
function? The function is only because of that Sakhi, there is question. That Sakhi questions. That Sakhi makes research. That Sakhi is not satisfied with the available science. That Sakhi is asking question. Dr. Rao is that, the Dr. Bhatt is that Sakhi. He is not satisfied with the misuse of science. That means he is asking question. So that Sakhi asks the fundamental question, who am I? Where from I came? Where shall I go? These are the fundamental questions. But below these questions, there are also lower questions. No, I am not satisfied with this relativity. This there is relativity means there must be something absolute. This is limited in this. That is perspectivism. That this is true, but this is true from this perspective only. Therefore Dr. Bhatt is able to speak that there is isms, and that ism creates brackets. Really, how there is difference between religion and spirituality. All these things are discussed, questioned, analyzed, rationalized only because we are playing the role of Sakhi. We are not satisfied with the simply very lower function of mind. Not Vivekananda, they are the great mind. But we have also that Sakhi Swarupa. That's my submission. I agree. I agree. Thank you.
Great.
Thank you,
thank
sir.
you. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Well, one thing more, it comes to me. Well, in the beginning of the lecture, you started with the element of fear in the human mind. Okay, and that disturbs the mental health. The element of fear that disturbs the mental health, the bodily health, and if the mental and the bodily health are, if they are disturbed, the social health is disturbed. So, as a doctor, how do you deal with the element of fear? Because I had gone through stages where fear was so much
Intense.
uh, it took so much of preponderance that my mind started became totally dysfunctional. There was a stage which I passed through, and that negative element of fear was so much there that simple problems, that going to the other street fetching vegetables, become a big issue for me.
Yeah.
So, as a doctor, how do you come across this?
Yeah, I have such questions many times in my talks, and the people used to ask these questions. And um, I would like to say here that fear is very important for the survivability of the animals, the in animal kingdom, because without fear, evolution cannot happen. And it is our fear that we always try to make ourselves safe. So at the individual level, the fear may be that how I will do tomorrow, how I will have this, how my son or daughter will work, how their future will get safe, and this kind of fear are at individual level. At the collective level of the humanity, the fear is that how we will deal with climate change. What will happen if somebody will attack with the how this at collective level will the fear will be like that if somebody will attack on our country, or something will happen to this whole earth, so then where we will go. So naturally at collective level we are trying to make ourselves safe, our species safe, this the species homo sapiens safe. And it is encrypted there in our genes. In fact, it is encrypted in the genes of every animal, the member of the animal kingdom, that how they will deal with their fear. And I have already told it in my presentation that all animals, they utilized their best abilities to fend off their fears. And because the human beings, they have very developed brain, so that's why this is the reason that we utilize that brain. We don't have much strength, but with the help of our brain, we are able to manage uh, the whole animal kingdom. The human beings, they are able to manage the whole animal kingdom. So in context of the humanity, that kind of fear which we used to have where when we were living in jungles is not suitable for us. So our biochemistry has evolved in such a way that fear will be considered as a negative thought in our system. So what will happen once we will have fear? So there are certain biochemicals like norepinephrine, epinephrine, cortisol. They will get released in our system. And what will happen with that fear? It will the our blood sugar level will get started increasing. Our blood pressure will get started increasing. Our heart rate will increase. So it will do a lot of problems in our system. And if it will persist for, say, for a longer period of time, because to having fear is not unnatural. Unnatural is just to live with that fear. That is very unnatural, and it happens with the human beings only. And it happens because of because of our evolved brain, because our brain always try to protect us. So like other animals, the fear will go, they will become absolutely normal. their biochemistry will become normal. But it doesn't happen in the context of the human beings, because here we always try to be in the fiction, because our brain is fictional. So whatever we think, that is always fictional. So many times it is about our imagination. Nobody knows that what will happen tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, but always we are anxious about our future. We are always trying to know about our future, and this makes us anxious. So just to deal with your having fear is not unnatural, but having those fear for a longer period of time will play a havoc with your health. It will create a lot of health related problems, which we call lifestyle problems. It will decrease sleep. So it will create a lot of vicious cycles. And those vicious cycles will keep on going, and it will make you anxious. It will make you, this anxiety level will go up. It will increase, shoot up your blood pressure. Your blood sugar may get up. So yeah, naturally you will, it will affect our social dimension of health. It will affect mental dimension of our health. It will have also affect our physical dimension of health. So everything will become in a shamble. So just to deal with fear, the such kind of fear, there are a lot of things you can do at your own level. And number one is the exercise. Evidences are there, and there are solid evidences behind it. A lot of thing has been done just to prove it. Many studies are there just to prove it, that if you do daily exercise, if you walk, your stress level will go down, your fears will go down, and you will become psychologically strong. So this walk. Simultaneously, if you do some yoga, you do some meditation, these are some tools which can be utilized. If you utilize them in a proper way, then naturally you will overcome your fears. Again, I would like to say, to having the fears is not unnatural. Unnatural is when fears started driving yourself, when fears started they started ruling your life, then it becomes a problem. Having fear, I can have the fear that what will happen tomorrow, that is natural. But if I will keep on thinking, keep on thinking on that direction, then it means there is some mental health issue. Then either I need to go for a help, or I should start changing my lifestyle. And what I should do for that changing lifestyle, I should try to focus what I am doing, whether I am doing exercise properly, whether I am my life is running in a particular way, what changes I can do in my daily life that can make me more happy. So in that way, there are a lot of things one can do, and the simpler thing is start doing daily exercise, daily walk, at least half an hour. So it will help in many ways. Simultaneously, just to look at your fear and try to understand that the originality of that fear, whether that fear has got really some concern, that is, whether that is that fear is in reality, or that is in your thinking, that is in your imagination. So there are a lot of things, and if there is problem, then naturally, because it is there are so many syndrome where the people started having fear with a lot of things, then naturally it requires medical help. I think that is.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. The
Yeah.
good take from very nice. The good take from this is fear is natural. It is not sir, it's not
It is not
against nature.
unnatural, it is
It is
natural,
not unnatural. It is not against nature. It is a
because
part
we
and
we
parcel of the
have we
natural
have
world.
life, we are living, so naturally there will be the problems.
And the positive thing is having a fear is also good because that is instrumental for getting some good. Having a fear of an examination is good because of that fear I'll study and do better in the examination. So fear can be taken positively. It is instrumental for the evolution of a better, a higher good, evolution of a good. Okay, something good. So that way we can take. But the problem is if the fear goes on for a elongated time, that becomes a problem. And
That becomes
there you suggested of various things that methodology should be practiced so that the fear doesn't continue for long. Okay, very nice. And one more point that you said is the fear of the unknown is still more dangerous. If you are having a fear of something known, that is temporary and that you can get over. But fear of the unknown, something of imaginary sort, something may happen, this may happen, that you are imagining something without that being not there at the other end. So something imaginative, and that is the fear of the unknown, and that is greatly dangerous, and that takes a longer term because that unknown is unknown and that lies within us, and that really disturbs one's mental health, even though that element of fear is not at all there, because that has seated itself in our mental health. It is disturbing a lot, and it disturbs the entire mindset, the bodily structure, everything falls down. So this is how I see you, because the fear of the unknown is still more dangerous. So that's how. But one more thing that you said, I wanted to say that fear, no, one more point, beautiful point that you said. I did not note it in between. You said fear. Anyway, it will come to me. Okay. So anyway, thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. So fear is natural. It is not unnatural. So having a fear is good for human psychology, because if you are yes, if you are
Yes,
fearless,
yes, sir.
yes, if you are fearless, you carry on the act the way you like. Suppose you are driving a car and you are fearless, okay. So you
Hmm.
be rough, you be tough to yourself and the car and everybody in the society.
Here,
So
sir.
a bit of fear should be there. You should be careful. It monitors you. Fear monitors you.
Very
Fear
good.
guides you.
Dr.
So
Rao,
that's why the humps are there on the road. Okay.
Dr. Rao,
So sir, thank you.
Orca Samant has
Uh-huh.
written that if there is logic behind imagination, then it is no longer imagination. That's also true. Because without imagination, you cannot be creative. So fear, to some extent, fear is also not bad. Dr. Bhatt also said that. Okay, but we
yeah.
should, yes. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Because
Yes, yes, yes.
something happened, so you can apprehend what you are apprehending that has not happened to you, but you are apprehending. That imagination is not bad, because without that imagination you cannot be decisive. You cannot take a decision. So that helps
Yes,
you to take a decision. That fear should be there. But
There should be a logic behind that fear.
yes, yes.
It
But
should be logical.
but
At least, if
here
not
we
structural, at least logical.
yes,
At least logical.
logical. But
That
here
should
we
at
are
least logical.
taking fear as a disease, mental disease. We should have
No,
fear
fear. No, sir. Fear becomes a mental disease if it is prolonged.
prolongs. If you
If
stay
it is
with,
prolonged,
if you stay
if it
with.
is about something unknown which is not there, but still you fear, so that becomes a disease, which
Arjuna,
I suffered
Arjuna,
4 or 5
Arjuna,
years back.
Arjuna had that
Ha, ha,
problem
ha, ha.
in
The
battles.
state, the state Arjuna was in. Okay, that is again.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
So let us wind up here.
Yes. No. If somebody has something to
Yes.
say, they are welcome. Arka Samantha, okay, prediction of future event is not possible. No. We go with the prediction. Even we may predict that there will be a cyclone tomorrow. That prediction is possible. From the platform of science, we do predict. Arka Samantha, somebody has pointed. Prediction is very much there in science. Okay, prediction is very much there in life too. We predict that this may happen. So prediction is the case of maybe. So prediction is always there. It is scientific, it is logical, and it is a part of life. Without prediction, we cannot even we cannot set a foot. Okay, the next foot we cannot put in. We predict that there is a balanced road. That's why we are moving ahead. Okay, so prediction. Okay, that is there. That is there. The prediction is not a problem anyway. It may happen, it may not happen, but prediction is always there. Thank you. But sir, any last comments, sir? Okay, we had a very beautiful evening with you, and I don't see anybody. If anybody is interested to have some queries, they're welcome. I'll wait for half a minute. Otherwise, some last lines from Mahesh Bhatt, sir, and then we'll wind up. No, I don't see anybody, sir. Huh. Sir, you want to speak something? Dr. Maharana, Dr. Maharana.
Okay, okay. I'll say. Okay. Hello, hello,
Yes. Prediction
hello.
goes with
Yes.
logic. Yes, prediction goes with logic. When we predict
Yes.
the occurrence of a cyclone tomorrow, it has certain logic, it has a scientific structure. Prediction is not just simply saying it will happen. It goes with a certain structure. When we talk of a prediction of prediction of something, it has certain logic. Without logic, we cannot talk of prediction. There is even a scientific background to a prediction also. The meteorology department, when it makes a prediction, it works out with lot of science, with lot of calculations. Okay, thank you. Well, but Dr. Maharan, I wanted to say something.
Yes. Okay.
Wanted
So
to say
I
something or last? Want to say something? Yes.
yes, yes. Okay. So for the last 1 hour, I was listening to the discussions made by the learned participants, and today I would like to extend my gratitude to Dr. Bhatt for presenting such a beautiful topic, and I must I must extend my gratitude to Dr. Ranjit Ghosar for initiating the discussion, and then Dr. Das, Dr. Rao, and others were uh, were giving very beautiful additions to the topic, which is led by Dr. Bhatt, the role of science, evolution of thought ecosystem of human mind. And when Dr. Dr. Bhatt was discussing on mind, and when Dr. Rao and Dr. Das, they were also modifying different discussions to it, then one thing came to my mind that mind is the instrument for human organization, and nature is monitoring the entire activities of the phenomenon of the human beings and all the evolution. And before the induction of mind principle, what you say, there is no such organization. And at the animal level also, there was also not an idea like or the mechanism like mind. And before the appearance of mind or the mind principle, I have written different scriptures that there is almost peace and bliss in this universe. You may speak of the fear, envy, or jealousy, and other things. They are also not found in animals. Animals were enjoying a kind of it was very natural, and it was the general and natural activities of the animals. And the principle of mind came, or the process of mind came with the when man are descended in this continent or in this universe, and the discrimination of good and bad and all the things that you have discussed, it was due to the induction of mind. At a particular stage of evolution, mind was inducted into the evolution for a particular purpose. And all kinds of development that we have seen till date, that is at the product of the human mind. And once upon a time, you may say that man is a creature of human mind, human mind. And sometimes mind creates the walls in religion. and it is because of mind that we are able to see different kinds of conflicts that is in religion. And sometimes the mind has also proved to be a medium of great system builder. It may say it philosophy or logic, or any kind of that is science that you can say. You can see the how mind has been modified by different that is human beings and the scientists.